Hello everyone, I'm Vale. Welcome back to my channel. I make vlogs about sewing, crafting, creative living in the Colombian countryside. So if that's something that interests you, subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of sewing. I have been just looking forward to sewing over the last couple of days. It has been a maybe tough couple of weeks, but definitely tough few days for me. And I think for anyone who's just like alive right now, it just feels difficult. And so sometimes I feel really stuck in my own head when I am just focused on things like work, news, etc., and I need something to get me out of that funk, and that is where sewing comes in for me. So I have been very much looking forward to sewing, and I went ahead and washed and dried this fabric, which sounds a lot easier than it actually is because it has been raining here a lot, and this is definitely the kind of place where you wash your clothes but you hang dry them, right? I mean, I don't have a dryer is what I'm trying to say. So because of that, I have had a hard time finding periods of time where my fabric can dry, and I know I could probably just skip that, but I'm like such a stickler for washing my fabric first. I've had so many accidents when I first started when I wouldn't wash my fabric and things would just like shrink and then fall out of place and then it was a mess. And so for me personally, it's a step that I just do not skip. And so I have been trying to wash and dry this fabric for a little bit, and I was going to make the Ella dress by Silver Saga Patterns, which I absolutely love. However, I don't have a zipper. I don't have a zipper, and I live again pretty far out, and so it would take me like a long time to find a zipper. I would have to drive probably like to the nearest city, which is an hour away, which is not that big of a deal. But again, I'm like, I need to sew something today, right? Like I'm like, I can't put this off, and I don't have any other fabric that has been washed. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use this fabric and I'm gonna make something because otherwise I'm gonna lose my mind. So I have decided instead I'm going to make something that is very summery because I'm traveling to the States this summer, and I need something that's going to be cute and warm, etc. Nothing is better than this sort of cotton for that. Well, the Ella dress that I was going to make was still going to be for the summer, but whatever. I'm gonna make a drawstring skirt, and it has been like very trendy in the last couple of months. I mean, skirts, long skirts, maxi skirts have been in for a little bit, but I think that what makes this one a little bit different is the drawstring. So it's not just so much of a, skirt, like a tiered skirt, which we've been seeing for a while, but it's also just like this particular, drawstring look. So I definitely know I want to make a drawstring skirt. And then I was, going through Instagram, and I found a really cool creator who has like a small business, like small fashion brand, and she makes these super cute maxi skirts, and they're not only drawstrings, but they're also tiered, and they have a slit in the front. So I'll put a little video of that here. It's so cute. If you are not a sewist and you want to support a small business, definitely go here and buy something because things are so adorable. The fabric choices, the styling choices, everything is so cute. I'm going to remake this skirt. I'm going to remake it with the DIY Daisy tutorial. So if you go to DIY Daisy, and I'll link it in the description, she has a tutorial on how to make a drawstring skirt that like will get you something super cute. And so I'm just going to make a couple modifications. I'm going to make it tiered. So I'm just going to like make a small tier at the top as in the video example. And I'm going to make a slit down the front because I think that is going to look so cute. So I'm definitely going to do that. And I don't think that that's going to take me too long because, again, it's just making those little modifications. However, I do think I'm going to have leftover fabric, which is such good luck. And I want to make something like a top because I'm also going to go to Mexico City this summer. And even though Mexico City is a little colder, like it does get hot at different times of the day. And I think that like this fabric in a little matching set could be such a cute little moment. I don't know what top I want to make yet. Here's one idea, which is a long sleeve top from my Pinterest, like a little bralette but with long sleeves. I could easily make this with the Caden Naughton, I forgot the name of that pattern. Oh, the Caden Naughton Catalina top, which I've made a couple of times, and then just add long sleeves. So I feel like that could be a really easy thing to do. I just don't know if I have enough fabric. So that's definitely something I need to consider. Now, if I don't have a ton of fabric, I can make something like this, which would be also really cute. And it would take a lot less fabric. For this one, I'm thinking I could probably use the base block of the Clara dress, which I've made a ton. It's very similar to this. It's just about where you insert the elastic. And I think that that could be super cute. Well, this one actually has a little... Is that like a bubble effect, or is that... Ooh, I could do that too. I could make a little off-the-shoulder top moment with a little... I love an off-the-shoulder moment. I really do. If you go through my videos in the past, I love it. And I've made those before, and again, it doesn't take a ton of fabric. So maybe I can do something like that. So, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. Now that I'm thinking about my choices for the top, I'm feeling like it's not going to be that strenuous or difficult. But yeah, mostly I'm just kind of excited that I can make something without having to go print out a pattern, etc. I'm just sort of going to have to, I'm diverting my plans, but I'm still going to seek out this dopamine. I'm still going to seek out this creative dopamine by sewing something today, because it is so hard to be alive in this moment and period of fucking history. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna make something. All right, let's get into it. Okay, I blinked and it's been 3 days and I still haven't started sewing. And that is for a number of reasons that are outside of my control, mostly work, but also because sometimes when I have to do very basic drafting math, I shut down. That's just me. I wish that that was not true. I wish I was somebody who could approach very simple math in a way that didn't create blocks in my head, but it just does. So regardless, it took me a couple of days to gain and muster the strength to put together some basic measurements. And I did. So here is the plan. I am going to be doing, again, a top tier and a bottom tier. It's a tiered skirt. It's not just one full piece. And so I am going to be doing a top tier that is 1.5 times my waist and a bottom tier that is 2 times my waist. Because if you can tell from the inspo, you know, the bottom tier is gathered, so there has to be more fabric there. I do think that the inspo that I showed has even more gather. I do think that that is a very, very gathered skirt. I don't tend to like to gather skirts that much because they get really heavy and then all of a sudden they're falling down and then they're tripping and then they become sort of more like Instagram skirts than real skirts to use out and about in a city, right? And I do want to wear this out and about. So, okay, to recap, I'm doing a top tier that's 180 centimeters and that is the 1.5 times my waist, and a bottom tier that is 240 centimeters and that is 2 times my waist. Obviously, I don't have fabric that's that wide, so I'm going to cut that in half, but that's pretty easy to do. And then I'm going to do the slit in the front. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we are ready to go. I have done so much cutting. I cut the top, the bottom. I even marked up where I think I'm going to do the slit, but I'm going to wait to do the slit because I'm not sure where it's going to hit just yet because it's a tier on the bottom. So I'm going to do the slit probably last, but I did mark it. I also made the little waistband strips. I am wondering how I'm going to put these in. If I'm just going to sort of make a channel. I need to look that up. I'm like, I don't know if I want to make a channel or put elastic on it. We'll see. But I made those. I had enough fabric to cut out the entire top for the Clara dress pattern. So I'm going to be making that as the base. I shortened the sleeves on that, and I shortened, obviously, the top a little bit, but that also was super easy. And I even had some leftover fabric to make a bandana. So I'm excited about that. Things are moving along pretty smoothly. I'm going to start with the skirt and then move on to the top. So let me show you when the skirt's done. Okay, I actually did decide to have this be elastic. So I cut my little straps or my little waist ties in half and I added this sort of rigid elastic. It's just more comfortable for me. I'm wearing a drawstring skirt right now and it's hard to get it to like really be as tight as you want it, because it's not as flexible. It's not as comfortable, in my opinion. And I saw this from another pattern. Like I stole this hack from another pattern. We just add a little elastic in the middle. It just becomes more comfortable. So now I'm just gonna make a channel on the top part of the skirt, and then I'll put this all in, and this will be the front, and I'll have one in the back, and then I can tie here on the sides, and it'll still be really cute, but the elastic will be doing like a lot of the job. So we're gonna go with this approach. And now I'm just gonna make a channel on the top. So I've got the top here, I've already serged it. I'm gonna just sew it down, make a little channel, and then I'm gonna thread this through there, and the top will be done. Well, actually, I'm not gonna thread it yet because then it'll be hard to attach. I'll thread it at the end, but I've got these parts complete. Okay, the skirt is done, which is very exciting. Let me show you. I did the slit. Actually, I'll show you that right now. Let me show you how I did the slit. So the first thing that I did was use bias tape to pin it to like identify where I wanted to do the line. Then I used bias tape. You pin the bias tape on the front and you sew down the middle. You create sort of like a little seam on the top part of the good fabric. Then you cut that open, and then you use the bias tape and you fold it over. So basically you're using the bias tape to make sure that that slit is nice and clean. And you do it on the front. So yeah, anyway, I've never done that. I honestly was just gonna cut it, like use a pair of scissors, cut it down the front, and then just like fold it over. So, I mean, I feel like I could have done that, but this looks much cleaner. So here is the skirt, and here is the little slit. Oh, it's in the side. Here's the skirt, and this is the slit right here. So it is nice and clean. You can still see my marker, but I sewed it all, and this is the inside, which just looks so professional. I'm so happy. Yeah, I tried this on. I love the skirt, especially because the slit, this is like what part that took me the longest, was figuring out where I wanted the slit because I've never done this before. But based on the example that I had from Instagram, it seemed like the slit was very much to one side, even more so than here. So I was just like, okay, because I was thinking it was going to be more toward the middle. So I had to think it over a lot and had to make a lot of lines. But I think it's perfect where it is, because you can kind of still position it so that there is no slit and be like, oh, it's like still kind of cute, but then, ooh, boom, slit. So yeah, this is really, really, really cute. Okay, the other thing that I did was I pinned the channel where I'm going to put the piece of elastic. I'm actually not super sure where I'm making from the top, so I'm just going to go for it. This is a Clara dress pattern, so it's the same dress that I'm wearing right now. And so you can see it has 2 elastic channels. I'm only going to put the first one. That's the one I pinned already, the first channel. But I was also thinking of not putting a channel at all, not putting elastic here at all, and just making the elastic be the bottom. So like do a little seam and put the elastic at the bottom, and then put elastic at the top and elastic at the shoulders. Or have it be so that this is the elastic, and since I have that little extra room, which you can kind of see here, I would just use that as like a ruffle. I would like do a little hem and it would be a ruffle. So it'd be basically a crop top with like an elastic, and like the bottom looks like a ruffle. That's one option. The other option is I'm not putting the elastic in, I'm folding it over, and I'm just making a top that's like elasticated on the bottom and around. So that's where my head has been. I feel a little bit conflicted on what to do, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna, I guess maybe I should sew it with the elastic first, because I could always remove the elastic, versus it would be very difficult to add it afterwards. The only reason I'm hesitating is because like I feel like if I don't put the elastic here and I just put it at the bottom, it would look kind of like bulky, like it wouldn't have any shape. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put I already pinned it. That's the hardest part. This is the hardest part of making this top or dress, is pinning this sleeve, because you like this channel for this elastic, because you have to be so precise. Thankfully, this is sort of like a pattern. It's almost like I could follow it along pretty easily. But anyways, yeah, it should come together pretty quick because it's just the top and I already did the difficult part. So I'm hoping I'm going to finish this today. I'm going to go and keep going with the top and show you once it's done, and I'll let you know if I like it or whether I'm just going to like remove the elastic and go for something else. But yeah, excited about that. I'm also wearing a bandana. I haven't been wearing a bandana in all my videos because I need a haircut like bad, so bad. But I do like the look. So I'm also gonna make a bandana, and I'm gonna use this one as a guide. All right, let's do it. It's coming together so well. I'm so excited. Okay, I finished. I'm so excited about it. It looks so cute. I also put a couple things up. So I finished this a couple days ago. I tried it on. I'm actually gonna go try it on right now so that you can see the final sort of look. But I love, love, love how it fits. I ended up doing the ruffle at the bottom. Oh my gosh, it's so windy. The doors are like knocking. I ended up doing the ruffle on the bottom because I tried it on and it looked really cute, so I finished it. And then of course we've got the nice little slit over here that's like very professional looking. We've got the side ties over here, which I also finished. And I also made a little bandana. However, I didn't do it in a perfect sort of square, which I think it had to be. So when I fold it over, como que no cuadra, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't work as a bandana. However, it does work as a really cute neck accessory, like a little, you know. So we're gonna go for it. I feel like I could do another bandana. I have some scraps, but I don't have scraps that are that big. So this one already even has been kind of patched together. If I try to make another one, it would have to be like 3 pieces of fabric patched together, and then it just doesn't look that good. So I don't think I'm gonna make a bandana. I'm gonna just keep it as like a little handkerchief moment. But yeah, I love this pattern. I'm already planning to make an entire replica of this set, maybe with a different top. But this particular skirt is just so cute. But I don't necessarily have time to do that just yet because I'm about to embark on a massive sewing marathon for some things that I have coming up in late May, early June. So that'll be my next video if you're interested in following along as I sew like 10 things in 10 days. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's gonna be fun. So I won't have time to revisit this particular pattern probably until July, but I do know that I love it. So yeah, this is from Mexico. I'm gonna be wearing this to Mexico, in Mexico. So to me, it also reads very Mexico City, which I love. All right, let me show you what it looks like on. And also, like, thanks for following along. Let me know if you've sewn anything recently that you've really loved, particularly for summer, because I'm always looking for very fun things to sew, particularly for warm weather, which is my favorite weather to sew for. So, yeah, see you around.